Hello everyone, this is Vaibhav and you're watching Logical Dreamers. So guys, today we are going to discuss about Nikah, marriage under Muslim law. So let's have a look on the topics we are going to discuss today. So guys, today we will be learning about the meaning of Nikah, then we will proceed to the nature and the objectives of the Nikah. And at last but not the least, we will be discussing about the essentials of Nikah. So let's begin with the first topic, meaning of Nikah. So generally we all know that marriage tie up two person in a bond of husband and wife and also creates some obligations. तो आज हम बात करेंगे निकाह की, जो कि अरेबिक टर्म है जिसका मतलब निकलता है यूनियन ऑफ sexes, and in legal language and in legal perspective it means marriage, but still it got two meanings, as under Muslim law it is recognized as a social duty, as a religious duty, as well as a civil contract. Yes, it's still debatable whether marriage under Muslim law is only a civil contract or only sacrament. If we go for the jurist perspective, then according to Justice Mahmood, marriage between Muslims, marriage among Muslims is purely a civil contract, while Prophet Muhammad believes that marriage is a sunnat or tradition or method that were proposed by Prophet Muhammad himself, and he also advises Muslims to not to follow the path of celibacy. Celibacy means to abstain from marriage or having sexual relationships, or we can say brahmacharya jivan. And those who do not follow this way of life, those who do not follow the provision of nikah or marriage under Muslim law, then they are nothing to do with this religion. एक केस है हमारे पास, शौरत सिंह वर्सेस जाफरी बेगम का 1914 का केस है ये, जिसमें प्रिवी काउंसिल ने स्टेट किया है दैट निका, that marriage under Muslim law shall be treated as a religious ceremony, also recognized as a religious ceremony, as it protects the society from foulness and unchastity. निकाह को एक रिलीजियस सेरेमनी माना गया था इस केस में, और साथ ही साथ ये भी प्रोड्यूस करा गया था कि ये सोसाइटी को बुराइयों से और इमोरलिटी से बचाती है. So let's have a look on the nature and the objectives of nikah. The case of Abdul Qadir versus Salima 1886, the nature and the objectives of the marriage under Muslim law were discussed by the Justice Mahmood, and he stated that marriage under Muslim law is considered as a social contract, as a civil contract, more than a sacrament. जैसा कि हमने पहले ही बात करी थी कि ज्यूरिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव के हिसाब से, ज्यूरिस्ट व्यू के हिसाब से ये एक सिविल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, और वहीं ये एक रिलीजियस ड्यूटी है अकॉर्डिंग टू प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद. इफ वी गो फॉर द कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल व्यू, देन वी कैन फाइंड टू ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ मैरिज अंडर मुस्लिम लॉ. दे आर legalization of sexual relationship between wife and husband, and the second one, legalization of generation, that is procreation of children. From the sacramental view or from the religious view, the marriage shows or proves the faith of man, as it is deemed that when a man treats his wife, the woman whom he married, with love, respect and mercy, then the God will also treat that man in the similar behavior, and also he will receive a chance to go to paradise on his judgment day. तो अब हम बात करेंगे essentials की. Let's move to the essential parts. Muslim marriages are very simple and requires no special rites or ceremonies that holds the validity of marriage. But if we go for the contractual view, जैसा कि हमने पहले पढ़ा कि according to the jurist perspective it is a civil contract. तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के तो कुछ रिक्विसाइट्स होते हैं, कुछ एसेंशियल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होते हैं जिनका फुलफिलमेंट बहुत ज़रूरी है, तभी आपका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैलिड माना जाएगा. तो यहाँ पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ मैरिज की अगर हम बात करें तो सबसे पहला जो पॉइंट आता है वो आता है ऑफर एंड इट्स एक्सेप्टेंस. सो for the validity of nikah, the presence of a valid offer or proposal, that is ijab, and its acceptance, that is kubul, is very necessary. The offer must be made from the side of groom, from the male side, and must be accepted by the girl or her guardian. In the case of Rashida Khatun versus SK Islam 2005 का केस है ये, जिसमें स्टेट करा गया, जिसमें ये बात करी गई थी कि द प्रपोजल एंड एक्सेप्टेंस आर मस्ट, मीन्स द प्रपोजल एंड एक्सेप्टेंस आर वेरी नेसेसरी, एंड also there must be a agreement to a term to remain as husband and wife, means दोनों यहाँ पर मेल एंड फीमेल को यहाँ पर एक्सप्रेस करना पड़ेगा, अग्री करना पड़ेगा कि they are accepting each other as husband and wife respectively. Then in the case of Jogu Bibi versus Misal Sheku 1936, the proposal and acceptance must be expressed in the same meeting was proposed. तो यहाँ पर ये बात रखी गई कि प्रपोजल और एक्सेप्टेंस सेम मीटिंग में होने चाहिए. As we all know that both the parties of the contract, those who enter in the contract, needs to be of sound mind. Similarly, a Muslim of sound mind can enter into a contract of marriage. The insanity of the husband can result into dissolution of marriage. Under the Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act 1939, a marriage with an impotent and insane person is voidable. Then comes the age for majority. We all know that age of majority, age for marriage matters. Under classical Muslim law, the age of majority is never specified, but it is deemed to be attained at puberty. For those who don't know about puberty, it's a physical change in child's body making him or her capable of sexual reproduction. Under Section 2, Clause 7 of the Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act 1939 states that the age of majority will be attained at the age of 15 years. In the case of Sadiq Ali Khan versus Jai Kishan 1929, the age of puberty in case of a Muslim girl is 9 years. As we all know that consideration plays a very important role in the formation of a contract. Similarly, a dar or meher, which is a sum of money or anything of value that is fixed during the time of marriage and is absolutely necessary to be paid by the husband to his wife. By the contractual view, it is deemed as a consideration, and by the sacrament view, by the religious view, it is a gift that empowers the wife. Then comes the free consent. We all know that along with the offer and acceptance, along with the sound mind, age of majority, and consideration, consent also matters and plays a vital role while performing a contract of a marriage. Both the parties must give their free consent for the marriage. In the case of Ghulam Kubra versus M. Shafai 1960 का ये केस है जिसमें स्टेट करा गया था that consent of the boy also matters along with the girl, and it must be done at the same meeting. So at last comes the topic free from disabilities. The contract of marriage must be free from any kind of restrictions or prohibitions like restriction on having fifth wife. In the case of मुसम्मद जुबैदा वर्सेस सरदार शाह 1943 का ये केस है जिसमें स्टेट किया गया था इफ द हस्बैंड इज कैपेबल ऑफ ट्रीटिंग ऑल द वाइफ्स इक्वली देन ही इज अलाउड टू हैव 4 wives or conduct 4 marriages at a time by the law. Then comes the absolute prohibition and the relative prohibition. इसके ऊपर पे मैं एक सेपरेट वीडियो बाद में बनाऊंगा जिसमें हम पूरी डिटेल्स की बात करेंगे. अभी जस्ट एक ओवरव्यू ले लेते हैं हम. एब्सोल्यूट प्रोहिबिशन के अंदर 3 कैटेगरीज होती हैं. फर्स्ट इज कॉन्जिग्यूनिटी, दूसरी आती है आपकी एफिनिटी, देन कम्स फॉस्ट्रेज जिनके मीनिंग है रिलेशनशिप बाय ब्लड, रिलेशनशिप बाय मैरिज, relationship by milk respectively. और अगर इस प्रोहिबिशन में, एब्सोल्यूट प्रोहिबिशन में अगर कोई भी मैरिज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होती है तो वो टोटली वॉइड मानी जाती है। एंड सिमिलरली एक रिलेटिव प्रोहिबिशन भी प्रोवाइडेड है, जिसके ये माना जाता है कि इन प्रोहिबिशंस में अगर कोई मैरिज करी जाती है और अगर उसमें कोई जो इरेगुलरिटी है वो हट जाए तो वो वैलिड बन सकती है, और ये सुन्नी लॉ के द्वारा रिकॉग्नाइज्ड है। इरेगुलर मैरिज मानी जाती है, जो भी रिलेटिव प्रोहिबिशन में जो भी मैरिज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगी वो सभी इरेगुलर मानी जाती हैं, और ये सुन्नी लॉ रिकॉग्नाइज करता है। बट अकॉर्डिंग टू शिया लॉ, द मैरिज कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड इन relative prohibition is completely void. Then comes the difference of religion. We already know that a Muslim can marry only a Muslim. Then the fourth topic, polyandry. As we earlier discussed in the above case, that a male is allowed to have four wives or allowed to conduct four marriages at a time, but a wife is restricted to do so. A woman can have ओनली वन हस्बैंड एट अ टाइम। अगर वो दूसरे से शादी करना चाहती है तो उसके लिए या तो पहले हस्बैंड की जो फॉर्मर हस्बैंड है उसकी डेथ हो जाए या फिर उससे डाइवोर्स ले लिया हो। देन एट लास्ट कम्स द मैरिज विद अ वुमेन अंडरगोइंग इद्दत। एक केस लॉ है हमारे पास, हयार वर्सेस नवाज 1935, in which the Lahore High Court stated that such marriage is irregular and the children who are born out of such marriage are legitimate. So guys, आज के लिए इतना ही. Thank you for watching. So let's have a look on the legal maxims and their meaning. Let's start with the first one, ab antiquo, which means from ancient times or primitive or from ancient clocks. जिसका मतलब बहुत पुराने समय से या बहुत पुरानी चीज. We can use it as this tradition or custom is in practice ab antiquo. Then comes the second one, a vinculo matrimoniae, which means from the bond of matrimony or marital obligation. We can use it as divorce a vinculo matrimoniae, which means releasing from the bond of matrimony or termination of the bond of matrimony or releasing from marital obligations. So guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching and please hit the subscribe button